name is Andy, and this is the most magical podcast on earth. When I'm not on holiday at Walt Disney World, I'm planning a holiday to Disney. And when I'm not planning a holiday to Disney, I'm talking about Disney with other UK fans like me who make the trip to Orlando and the House of the Mouse. So whether you're a parks professional or a Florida first-timer, this is the podcast for you. Each episode, I'll be chatting to other Disney superfans to share memories of their magical times, answering your Walt Disney World questions, getting you all the latest news from the parks, and finding out what's happening right now in Orlando. So get your ears on as we take you to the most magical place on earth. This is the most magical podcast on earth as part of the Secret Recordings Network. Brand new episodes every other Friday, new guests, new memories, lots of stories. So make sure you subscribe to the podcast. If you missed our last episode, it was a recap of all the news from D23 or lack of news for Walt Disney World from D23. So do catch up on that. On this episode of the podcast, we're going to talk to Deni Sunderly, who you may know as a member of the Diz over in America, who now works with an amazing charity called Give Kids the World. So we'll find out more about Give Kids the World, and we'll talk Walt Disney World with Deni very soon. And we've got more of your questions, so make sure you send them over. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, at PodMagical is where we are. Give us a like, give us a follow, and if you've got any planning questions, do get in touch there. Debbie wants to know, we'd like to go for Christmas. When is the earliest you get the Christmas feels at Walt Disney World? The earliest you get Christmas feels at Walt Disney World, Debbie, is probably the day after Halloween. Literally overnight, Halloween comes down, 1st of November, bam, Christmas is everywhere. And then, of course, it's usually the week after that you get the first Christmas parties at Magic Kingdom. And then it's a couple of weeks after that you get to experience the gingerbread houses in like Grand Floridian. And then you've got the Epcot Festival of the Holidays, which usually falls around Thanksgiving, which is the last Thursday in November. So as November goes on, it gets more Christmases. If you want the full-on Christmas experience, kind of like just after Thanksgiving is where you want to go. But as I mentioned many times, if you want to experience both Halloween and Christmas, if you go for Halloween right at the end of October, you'll get that. And then you'll get the beginnings of Christmas as well. So yeah, it's kind of over November is where Christmas starts to arrive in Walt Disney World. Got any questions? Do give me a shout. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at PodMagical. Same place to go if you'd like to be a podcast guest, because everybody's got Disney memories. So let's talk Disney World, shall we? This episode of the podcast, well, this is something special because we don't usually let people outside the UK on. But for this lady, anything. You probably remember her from the Diz, but now she's working with Give Kids the World, which we have to talk about. Hello, Deni Sunderly. How are you?
Well, hello there, Andy. I'm doing very well. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me along for the conversation today. I'm excited.
So you no longer work for the Diz. You're now part of Give Kids the World, which we have spoke about on this podcast. It was October 2019. Stephen and his family stayed at Give Kids the World. Explain what Give Kids the World is.
So Give Kids the World is an 89-acre whimsical resort for children who are critically ill and their families. So whenever a child through a wish-granting organization says that they want to come to Central Florida, because, you know, we have an attraction or two down here, a theme park or two.
Oh, okay. I've never heard of them.
I don't know if you know this. But whenever that kiddo says, yes, I want to go to Walt Disney World or Universal or SeaWorld or Legoland, they are routed to Give Kids the World Village. Give Kids the World is the one who will make that wish kind of come true here on the ground. It is a week filled with, as Pam Landworth, our founder, our founder is Henry Landworth, but Pam is now the one who is the CEO and the president. So as she likes to say, it's a week filled with yeses. These are children who don't often hear the word yes when they want to go do something fun. And here at Give Kids the World, they absolutely get to do that. So everything is taken care of. Theme park tickets are donated. We have 166 villas at the village.
Wow.
So the families get to stay in one of those villas. All meals are taken care of. The children receive gifts every single day. Like, it is just, it's for a lot of these families a dream come true.
It's a dream come true for families who are probably living through a nightmare. It would be hard to understand and comprehend what they're going through. So this just must be the most amazing welcome.
It's so much fun to experience it through their eyes in a very cursory fashion, just to experience the village. It is, you might think that maybe it would be a sad place, and it is anything but. It is happy from the word go. There's so much joy in and among all of the venues. Like we have an enchanted carousel. We have 3 attractions there on Give Kids the World property that are completely accessible to the kids. A kiddo using a wheelchair can absolutely ride an attraction and enjoy it just like any other kiddo would. Well, the best thing I can tell you, I have a small, quick little story. I was walking from the office to my car one day, and in order to get to the parking lot where my car is, I get to walk through a portion of the village. I was walking through, and there was a family in the front yard of one of their villas, and Dad was standing by the minivan, and the two kids were standing by the villa sign where the family's last name is displayed. And Mom is out in the street trying to take a picture of the 2 boys out front by the villa sign. And I just said, hey, would you like me to take a picture of the 4 of you? And Mom said, oh my gosh, that would be wonderful. Would you? I said, absolutely. And Dad walks over, and he has just got this look on his face. And like he is just trying to take it all in. And he said, thank you so much. We just can't believe this. And we just arrived. Like, they were already, literally, Andy, they had just arrived at the village and driven into their villa, and already they were overwhelmed at how amazing it was.
And they're just one family out of how many thousands, would you say?
Yes, thousands, 177,000 families since the village's inception in 1986 have come through from 76 different countries. So while I might be outside of the UK, there are families from the UK through generous donations who have gotten to be able to come over and experience the magic and the hope that the village holds. So it's pretty exciting.
And if you've got people listening now who are thinking, actually, I know a family who need a trip, how would they go about it from the UK?
They go about it by contacting their local wish-granting organization.
Right.
So get in touch with someone who is on the ground where you are at that moment. And they'll have a process for you to go through in order to be able to see that wish fulfilled for that critically ill child and their family. And then that wish-granting local organization gets in touch with the village, and there is an entire team that takes it from there, that makes sure that vacation is exactly what that family needs.
And on the other side, you might have people listening going, well, I'm lucky that everything I've got in life is great, but I'd like to help Give Kids the World. How would they go about that?
We would absolutely love that. So head to gktw.org. You will see a button that will allow you to donate. Really, it is all about sharing the mission of the village so that others can kind of catch on. You know, we like to say that the village is all about creating happiness that inspires hope. So a little this week of happiness fills the hope tank up for these families. And so we need donations in order to be able to make those dreams a reality. So gktw.org. Also, if you'd like to volunteer, we have volunteers from all across the globe. That's a process that can be begun right there at gktw.org. So click on the volunteer tab and follow the directions from there, because I would absolutely love to meet you when you're there at the village volunteering.
And anybody can do that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. Anybody can do that. So for sure, please just head to the site and start clicking on buttons and seeing what happens.
A lot of people might know the village because of your huge Christmas lights over the last couple of years. Now, in a way, This is good news that you're not doing that this year.
So the village, for the first time since COVID, is back to almost capacity. And that is literally, that's why we exist. But the amazing team there at the village 2 years ago dreamt up the idea of a night of a million lights, where if you used to love the Osborne spectacle of dancing lights at Disney's Hollywood Studios, it was like they were back for just a moment. I cannot tell you, Andy, how exciting it was to stand there and hear, some of those songs that we are so used to hearing in Hollywood Studios play while the lights danced on all of the different villas. But now this holiday season, those villas will be filled with families who are receiving the wish granted for their child. So that's our main objective and our main focus. Night of a Million Lights will not happen at the village this year, but we're so excited to welcome the families back.
Deni is on the podcast this episode. We have to talk about your Walt Disney World story. What is it that you love about Walt Disney World?
My gosh, what is not to love, right? It is, it's so funny. I grew up coming to Walt Disney World. My family, our extended family, lived here in Florida, whether it was West Palm Beach or Jacksonville or anywhere in between. And so visiting Walt Disney World as a kid looked like a day trip here and there, like, on the way down or on the way back up, because we lived in the mid-Atlantic. So, it was, from the word go, a magical place for me. But then once I had kids of my own, it just took on that whole new meaning. And my husband and I, we were down here on vacation in 2012, and we were sent down here by his parents to enjoy a couple of big milestones that we were celebrating. And we sat there in front of Disney's Caribbean Beach Resort, ready to get back on the Magical Express bus to head back to the airport. And we started talking with someone who was there, who had actually become a cast member and who had moved from far away because she just didn't want to leave anymore. And we sat there, the two of us, and I was fine getting on that bus, Andy, until that moment.
Oh, no.
Until that conversation. And I went, wait a second, that's an option? Like, we could live here and not have to go back home again. And so we started to put, movement behind that dream. Our kids were down with it, and we said, okay, then, let's go. It took a year to kind of get everything ready and to sell a house and all of that. But we moved down in 2013 and have loved just about every minute. Walt Disney World's my happy place.
Yeah.
And it still is. And it's different when you're local. It is different. I will say that. I don't know that it's any less magical, though, because when I need it after a hard day at work, it's there. As long as I can get a park reservation.
Oh, no, let's not go there.
I know you know all about that.
We know all about that.
But it's different. The experience is different now in many ways, in a lot of ways that the company has changed the park experience as of late. But it's still filled with magic if you and I are willing to see it. So. Yeah.
How often do you actually go? I'm guessing when you first moved, you were there like all the time. But now, after nearly 10 years, how often do you go, let's just pop to Epcot?
Oh, Epcot, me and more. So, when I was with the Diz, obviously that was my job to be there. Yeah. It was, I could be found sitting on a piece of concrete just about anywhere with my laptop on my lap, typing away. And I do have my favorite places to work while here at Walt Disney World. But now that I am at Give Kids the World Village, it's a little different. So I like to get into the parks at least a couple times a week. And so during the evening, I come home from work, change clothes, sometimes don't even do that, throw on my tennis shoes, and my hubby and I are out the door to go enjoy some cheeseburger pods in Animal Kingdom, or taste some new things at Food and Wine Festival at Epcot. So yeah, it's at least a couple of times a week, because it helps. I mean, Andy, I think we all, after a hard day at work, have that thing that we like to do. And for me, that is just being on Disney property, because it allows me to be a kid again, just for a little bit.
For us in the UK, it's switching on Disney Plus. That's the nearest we can get. But waiting for those mega long holidays, those mega long trips that we like from the UK, where we come over like 2 or sometimes 3 weeks.
Y'all do. You just, you
it's a long way
in, which is a fabulous thing.
What do you remember about the first time you walked into a Disney park?
I had the opportunity to be here the opening month of Epcot, so October 1982, and I was a kid. And so I think sometimes as kids, we have these little snapshot memories where we don't remember exactly the entire narrative, but we have a glimpse of things that we experienced in that moment. And for me, I remember walking into Communicore West and just looking up at everything that lay before me. It was so futuristic. It was everything was beeping and booping and colors and everything. And for a kid, it's just magnified, because everything is just so much bigger, because you're so much smaller. But I remember the feeling of being in a very different place, as opposed to the Magic Kingdom, because that's all we had at the time. In 1982, it was those two, and that was that. My dad is a big kid, and so if Disney opened a new park, he wanted his family there. And he had a conference in Orlando, and all 4 of us came down and got to enjoy the park in October of 82, which for me, on my desktop, I have a picture that Dad snapped that day of it shows my mom, but then it shows a pristine Spaceship Earth and what is now World Discovery, so Future World East.
Yeah. At
the time, like all the trees are brand new. Everyone's kind of dressed up in their early 80s fabulous clothes. And my mom very decidedly is over the magic right now.
Oh,
so she's got her head in her hand, and we're on World of Motion. So we're in the outside portion where the attraction vehicles would come around and would spiral to the next level. And that's been my desktop screen picture for years and years and years, probably 10 years now, because that's the first time that I got to lay eyes on Epcot.
Would you say that's your most cherished memory of any time in a Disney park? Or is there something, the one thing over the last 40 years that people say, what's your favorite Disney memory?
There are several, of course, meeting the amazing listeners and viewers of the Diz, getting to meet them in the parks has been just an absolute privilege, and still getting to do that is so much fun. But for me, the one that kind of rises to the top, it was one night in Epcot, again, with Epcot. Forgive me, all those who are disenchanted with Epcot right now. My family, so my 2 kids, my hubby and I, were in Epcot one evening, and it was right after moving here. And it's one of our first moments back in a theme park, because when you move down here, you've got to make sure that you've got all your documentation correct before you can get your annual pass. We had all of that said and done, and we're in the theme parks for some of the first times as residents. And we were in World Showcase, and I want to say we were near the Italy Pavilion when we all looked at our watch and said, "Oh my gosh, we've only got 5 minutes left before park close." And the kids really wanted to ride Test Track. They said, let's ride Test Track. And so we looked at our watches and went, we can do it. And we just took off for Test Track from the Italy pavilion, and we broke the whole safety begins with me. We broke the safety key on our way around. I'm so sorry to all the cast members that we ducked and dodged that evening, but we made it in time to ride Test Track. And I just remember that feeling of euphoria just as we were galloping around the World Showcase over to Test Track in what was Future World East at the time. It was just so much fun. And I remember my little mommy heart just going, oh, this is why we moved here. It was moments like this.
The moments like that, yeah. I'm guessing Epcot is your favorite park then.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What's your favorite attraction though in any of the parks?
You know what? It was Tower of Terror until Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind opened.
Such a good attraction.
That thing is a game changer, isn't it?
Isn't it just? Which song? Have you done all the songs?
I've not done all the songs yet. I'm really close. And I'm happy to say that my husband and I were in Epcot on Sunday it was our wedding anniversary. And we're just, tootling around, having a lot of fun. We got to ride Guardians and we finally got September. I've been hearing about, September is the best song for Guardians. And I'm like, okay, I've gotten Iran 4 times. Bless Flock of Seagulls, bless them. But my gosh, I was ready for another song. So thankfully we got September. So that was a fun little bit of magic on our anniversary.
I've yet to have Conga. We did it 6 times on the last trip. We were just hoping for Gloria Estefan. Didn't get Conga.
Yes, it is a very good one. And I want to say that Rhino and I got Conga when we rode it on the first day of Food and Wine. I think that's when I finally got Conga, and it's a good one.
What about favorite places to eat? Have you got a favorite Disney World restaurant? You must have eaten at all of them, surely.
I actually haven't. I have not eaten at all of them. My husband and I have a list, and we're trying to check them off. But no, I've not eaten it. I've eaten at most of them. I will say that. And my very favorite is Toledo. If we're talking table service, it's Toledo over at Disney's Coronado Springs Resort. It's on the 16th floor of Grand Destino Tower. It is just this lovely, I want to say ethereal, but it's also very grounded because you walk in and there are trees inside that run down the center of the dining location. And there's a beautiful lit arched ceiling where they have programmed it. It's an experience, right? This is Disney dining.
Yeah.
And so they've programmed it to change colors and to mimic the color of a sunset in Spain. And it's gorgeous. And it's not as expensive as other Disney restaurants. We're used to it, right? You come over on holiday and you just know that you're going to drop a chunk of change on food.
Yep.
Toledo offers this wonderful dining experience, and you feel like you're in a signature restaurant, but you're not. So you're not paying those signature prices. They've got the most lovely filet. And if you're into cheese, and I am, you want to get the Spaniard cheese board, cheese and meats. Fantastic.
And say Deni sent me. I'll have what she's having. Coronado is a beautiful resort, and it's only a moderate resort. The whole thing about Coronado, if you're looking for that higher end on a slightly lower budget, it's got to be Coronado.
Yep. I would agree. I mean, their preferred rooms have all been redone. So, back in the day, it got but it got a reputation for being a convention center hotel. And while it is still, because their convention center is literally massive, they've also taken care to come along and make sure that there's plenty to do for families, for people who are, traveling parties who are just here to vacation. So if you're not able to stay in Grand Destino Tower, if it's all booked or those the prices are not what you want it to be, the preferred rooms, the other rooms in the resort, the older rooms were all redone before the July 2019 opening of Grand Destino Tower. So, and then if you think about it, then you had the closure there in 2020, not too long after it. So it's all got this wonderful, fresh, very approachable feeling while still offering an elevated experience.
It reminds me very much of a Vegas hotel, Coronado Springs.
I've not been to Vegas, so I'm going to trust you on that.
Put it on your list. It's kind of like Disney, but a little bit more for adults, I would say. Where else should we be going in Orlando? Because, we come from the UK, we go to Disney, we'll go to SeaWorld, we'll go to Universal, but surely there are other things that we don't go to that we should.
Oh, my gosh.
Especially if we've been quite a few times.
If you have a car and you're able to get off property and you're okay with driving on I-4, which I would say go for it because, I-4 is a highway. Like, it's okay. It's going to be okay. We all have navigation. So pull up the GPS, head to East End Market. If you are at all a foodie, and food is my love language. So this is one of my favorite places. It is a food hall. I'm going to say the word elevated again because it is an elevated experience. This is artisanal food that's being offered. There's an amazing vegan place, a Winter Park Biscuit Company, that is just so good. Lineage Coffee is there, which is some of the best coffee in the Orlando area. Farm and Haas is there, and they offer if you're there in the morning, you can get breakfast there, and it's made with this just magnificent bacon. And here's the thing. If you love yourself a Gideon's Bakehouse cookie when you're at Disney Springs,
yes, but
you don't love having to join that queue
for 4 hours,
unbelievably long. You imagine yourself, just a picture in your mind's eye, simply walking up to a counter, ordering a Gideon's cookie or 2 or 3, and leaving just moments later. That's the experience at the original Gideon's, which is located in East End Market. So it's pretty magical all on its own. It's not on Disney property. It's on Corinne in Orlando. It's in the Winter Park area. But Winter Park in and of itself is a very, very cool place. And there's a little something for everyone.
Yeah. Or just jump in an Uber or a Lyft.
Yes. Absolutely. They will gladly take you to Winter Park and then take you back to Disney property. I'm sorry. There's just nothing better than getting the Gideon's Bakehouse cookies in your hot little hand and not having to wait for hours. You'll do a little happy dance on the way out the door.
Where is the best place on Disney property to get coffee? Where's the best coffee? I know you love your coffee.
Oh, my goodness. Do I love my coffee? We're going back to Coronado. We are going to either Toledo or the Dahlia Lounge, which is, if you've not been to Dahlia Lounge, I cannot recommend that highly enough. It's just the most lovely space. Even if you don't drink, get a bocadillo sandwich and then get the cafe bonbon. That is my favorite coffee on Walt Disney World property. It is a shot of espresso. It is sweetened condensed milk and a little frothy goodness going on top. And it's one of those things where they serve it to you in this wonderful petite little clear mug glass thing with a little teeny golden spoon, and you stir all 3 layers together. Take a picture for the gram first, then always, and then you take that little golden teeny spoon and you stir those 3 layers up. And you can also get it downstairs in the morning at Barcelona Lounge because Dahlia doesn't open till 5 p.m. And if you want that cafe bonbon in the morning, they will serve it up to you there at Barcelona. And a wonderful cast member named Denise once described it to me as rocket fuel. And that is exactly what it is. It's rocket fuel in the best way.
That will set you up for rope drop wherever you're going.
That's exactly right.
Deni, I'm going to give you your perfect Disney World day. You can stay where you want. You can eat where you want. Lining lanes, they're included. I'm throwing those in for free.
Fantastic. for free.
For
Andy,
free,
you're so
yeah.
benevolent.
Don't let Chapek hear me say that.
I know Bob would not be happy.
No.
So I personally, for me, I'm staying at Riviera. Even if you can't stay there, I would highly recommend visiting. It's just gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And they will make you a lovely coffee as well at Le Petit Cafe. So in the morning, I would wake up, I would grab that coffee at the cafe, and I would hop on the Skyliner and head to Hollywood Studios. The Skyliner right now is beating the monorail on my favorite form of Disney transportation. I just think it is, I don't want to overuse the word, but I think it's magical. And since we have Genie Plus and we have all those lovely lightning lanes, we have to take advantage of a Hollywood Studios day. We just have to. In my mind, you get your most bang for the buck either at Magic Kingdom or Hollywood Studios with Genie Plus. So that's where I would be heading. I would absolutely ride Rise of the Resistance. I would ride the Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster and Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I would eat at, I think I would eat at Docking Bay 7 because they have a lovely noodle dish. And it was the braised shack roast back in the day. I believe it has a new name now, but it's really delightful. Either that or a Ronto wrap, which is delicious as well. I would continue riding rides. I'd head over to Epcot because I would absolutely want to get on Soarin'. I would try for the 1 o'clock drop for Guardians. Like I would want to continue doing the things I might buy an individual lightning lane if I need to. I would want to spend some time in the France Pavilion expansion if someone's never been there. Oh, friends, it's just delightful. And I would end the day, I think, there at Harmonious, and of course, taking advantage of whatever festival was happening at the time, because that special food needs to be tasted.
There's always a festival. What's your favorite festival at Epcot?
Oh, Andy, I was going to say Festival of the Arts, but then I remembered about Festival of the Holidays. So it is Festival of the Holidays followed on just very closely by Festival of the Arts. What they've done with Festival of the Arts is just lovely. And the fact that you and I as park guests get to meet some of our favorite artists and look them in the eyes and thank them for what they do to bring joy into our lives, that's just an incredible a gift for them to give us.
Talking about bringing joy into people's lives and incredible gifts. Give Kids the World. Give us the details again if anybody wants to know more about it.
Absolutely. Jump on the World Wide Web and head to gktw.org. So that's Give Kids the World's website. You will find all of the information that you need. You can follow the Village on social, GKTW Village. We're on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. So definitely jump in and check things out. And please, if you head to the Village, give me a shout out. Let me know so that I can come and give you a high five. Yeah.
Deni Sunderly, have a magical day.
Thank you so much. You as well. Thanks for having me.
Thanks to Deni for joining me on this episode of the podcast. If you would like to come on, chat about Walt Disney World, some of your favourite things, some of your memories, some of your top tips, get in touch. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, @PodMagical is where we are. That's the same place. We'll keep you updated with all the latest news that's coming over from the parks. And I like to wrap up the podcast with a top tip. This week, we're in the middle of party season. There's always a party going on. As soon as it gets to August, we've got Halloween parties. As soon as they finish, we're pretty much straight into Christmas parties. And a lot of people who aren't going to the parties will tend to avoid Magic Kingdom on the day of a party because they think, well, what's the point? You know, the park closes earlier. There's no fireworks at night. Why should I go there? Well, that's what a lot of people think, which is why you should go to Magic Kingdom, especially here in the UK. We've pretty much all got tickets where we can park up after 2 o'clock anyway. So start your day at least in Magic Kingdom because it will be quieter than usual most people avoid Magic Kingdom on the day there's a party if they're not at the party that night. So make sure you go there. Enjoy the quieter crowds. Of course, if you've got any top tips, I'd love to share them. Give me a shout. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok @PodMagical. Don't forget to subscribe as well. We have brand new podcasts, brand new guests, more news, more questions, more memories coming out every other Friday. So we'll be back in 2 weeks' time. Hit that subscribe button. And until then, please